This is the big crater I was looking for. This is the one they call Amphitheater Crater. And you can see why when you look at it, because it's like 700 feet wide, which is twice the width of a football field, and it looks like an amphitheater. This is just amazing. Now I stopped from here long enough to switch to my still camera, take a couple pictures, switch to my wide angle lens, took a picture, and I'm already close enough to it that I couldn't get side to side even with the wide angle lens, except maybe what was out of view might show up in view on the picture. I could step back a little bit here, but as soon as I step back past that shrub, I'll start putting that shrub in the picture, and I'll also start blocking off the view more from this wall. Now I could probably climb up to the top there and get a view from up there, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot different than the view from here, because it's not really that much higher. And the view from here is just impressive. And you can look and see where that farmhouse is over there, and the irrigation sprinkler where I parked my car. It's all that close. In fact, as I come around over here, you can see the corner of Coffee Pot Road and Highway 21, as Highway 21 goes out and then goes up and over that ridge. And as soon as you came over that ridge on 21 coming from Odessa, you could see this was all scabland area here. You could see that going out that direction there was scabland. And I apologize for kind of taking pictures into the sun, but that was kind of part of what I wanted to take a quick look at while I was here. But the Amphitheater Crater here is absolutely amazing, and I'm going to start walking around the perimeter of it here on this trail. But I have to say, even this flow over here looks like it's part of the rim, and then I'm walking into an intersection on the rim, not the complete outer section of it. Now there is a fence here. I'm not sure why, but it just kind of corners off a small area here. That's okay, I don't need to go around that fence. And I don't know what they're trying to protect there, but whatever it is, I'm not going to be working my way across that fence to find out. Now, I've just stepped down a little bit, and already it's getting hard to tell that I'm in a crater. And maybe that wasn't the trail, like I was thinking the trail was over here, and it was. But I saw the trail continuing over here, and I just took a minor wrong turn trying to find it. I could have gotten through there, but I'm on the trail again. But you can see, now that I'm in here, even this rock wall here is part of the rock wall of the crater. And I think a vulture just flew right up on the top of the rock wall up there. He blends into the wall so well that I can only tell he's there because I saw him move and land there. But if I try to zoom in, I don't think I can identify him in there. I can see a green pillar that he's just to the left side of. So I'm going to try to see if I can't pick him up. I also see that little bit of grassy area. There's that green pillar. Not too far, you're going too far. Turn back, go back, go back. Right there. Now turn down a little bit. He should be right about in the center of the frame right there. I can't tell for sure he's there, but I'm pretty sure I saw him there. And yeah, I can see him when I look out there. I can't really see him in the camera, but he's there. There's a vulture perched right on top of that rock. And he's right about halfway between that green pillar and that bit of grass you see at the top of the butte. He's right there. I can see him. Can't really see him in the camera, but I can see him there. Anyway, he's well camouflaged sitting on that rock. So unless he flies away, you'd probably walk almost right up on top of him before you realized he was there. But anyway, you can see that this is an amphitheater here of this rock. It has that curve all the way around over to that side, just like it continues all the way around over to this side. So you can tell you're in a bowl, so to speak. And that's the indication you're in a crater. There are higher and lower areas in the crater over here. And it's kind of hard to see some of the features because they are covered with so much vegetation. This is the time I wish I had a drone, because if I could take a drone and send it high in the sky and look down on this area, this would be a very great place to have a drone. And the shot you would get from here would be absolutely spectacular. But just like you can see the outside wall there is curved around, you can see this inside wall here is curved. And this one on the inside of that is curved again, so that you have concentric rings around the center over here. And there is supposed to be a dry lake in the center, and maybe my first view was one that I didn't see the bottom and I was looking at something else, because I haven't seen any indication of a lake in here, nor have I seen anything else. I see a rock down there that might be an erratic. It might be a granite. Well, I'm more interested in this area here than checking out another erratic at this point. Now you can see all the basalt here is leaning in toward the center of the crater. And that's another indication that it's a crater here. And since I was told this is in the Rosa flow, this is Rosa flow in this area. And I think Rosa flows were the last of the flows. I think everything above it should be a Rosa flow as well. Now the interesting thing, as you look at this concentric ring here, it almost looks like a man-made structure. I mean, all the rocks are cracked and shaped to where it looks like someone built a wall. I mean, it actually just about looks like a man-made wall looking at it. This is just an amazing area. There are hundreds of these craters in this area, and probably more, as they say, down underneath the topsoil that haven't been revealed yet. And this is just 3 that I've seen, and you see all 3 of them are heavily covered with vegetation. But this being one of the largest, I would think, and you can look back from this area and you can see it's an amphitheater. It's a round area, and you can see from that wall that I said looks man-made, you can see where it continues around on the far side, and there's a ring. It just has an opening right in that area. But everything here is concentric rings that point to this being a crater and not a pothole. This is just amazing here. And I'm coming up on the sign that says Amphitheater Crater. Ah, there's the playa lake bed, and there is a little bit of water down in it. And I can hear a truck up on the road. on Highway 21 behind me. I don't think it was picked up by the camera. And there's a bench for viewing. So I'm going to take a break on that bench. But before I do, I've got a real good look into the center of the crater here. And there's just a little bit of water in the base of that playa basin. But it wouldn't take long and that would be dried out. But you can see what I mentioned, this man-made looking type hill of rock. It's not just concentric, but you can see from this angle it's also tilted in toward the center again. And while it looked like a man-made wall, men don't make walls that tilt toward the center. That's not one design they do use. So I think it's safe to say it's not man-made. But this is absolutely amazing, absolutely impressive and spectacular. Superlative would be another good word for it. I'm going to use up all my adjectives here before long, I'd have to say. But I'm going to take a 360 view from here on this south side, I think, of the... because this is a good view where I can see the center. Come across the bench and we'll see this concentric outer ring. Maybe a little bit of a ring right there between that ring and where I'm standing. But you can see these rings were made when the explosion happened in the lava while it was still liquid. It ran into some surface water, or maybe just some under the surface water, and caused an explosion. It created this crater, and the crater had these concentric rings around it that filled in with the soil and loess. But all that soil was washed out by the Ice Age floods, showing us these craters. And as I said, there's hundreds of them in this area. So I've probably gone by a couple and didn't see them. Partly just because, as I mentioned, the two I went by earlier, there's just so overcovered with vegetation or with water that even though they are there, they just aren't there for the common person to see. It takes a geologist to sort out the details and the clues to say, you know, there is a crater there. But this is one anybody can see. This is just amazing. And the thing is, until I pulled out Bruce Bjornsted's book and found this reference in it, I didn't even know these things existed. I was exploring all kinds of topography of the Ice Age floods, and I didn't even know about this one. Boy, I tell you, there are things out here you just don't know about, and they are absolutely incredible. Well, I've got to get the still camera out and take a couple more pictures now with that.